Hello, a very lovely good evening. So, in fact, when I last time left the class, actually, I told you I would continue that. Unfortunately, I couldn't. So, in fact, this is a new day, it's a new session, and we are going to start with a new chapter also. So, this is the first session of today's class, in fact, and I didn't say good evening so far. So, good evening and welcome to one and everyone down here and also what we call all over on the screens. So, in today's agenda, we have decided that we are going to start a very heavy topic. In fact, it's an interesting one, and some of you might be wondering actually that we might be starting it a little bit late, but it's pretty important. Branch account we are going to start off with in today's session. So, branch account, as always, what we call commands a very high level as far as importance of intensity is concerned. It's a pretty long chapter, and from the examination point of view, definitely you can expect a question down from this particular chapter. Good thing about this particular chapter is that most of you are actually well aware of what we call the basics of this particular chapter, because more often than not, it is seen that this particular chapter is part of university syllabus. So those among you actually who have done BCom first year or second year might have had actually done a little bit of what we call branch account. So in this particular session, we have decided to what we call start off with branch. So open down your register and pens also. So now we are beginning the day with branch account. Branch accounting. In spite of the fact that most of you have done the basics, we are going to start from the scratches as is the habit. So branch accounting. It's a significant chapter. It's a formidable one, no doubt about that. I have already told you. And as far as frequency of question striking in the examination is concerned, that is pretty high with respect to this particular chapter. Almost every year question is striking in the examination. So branch accounting definitely would need a lot of focus, a lot of attention, and a lot of time also. So, because nearly 80 or 90 questions are there, so it requires time, it requires attention, as I have already told you, and it requires what we call cooperation from both sides. That is from the fraternity and from the student fraternity, and of course from the teaching one. So branch accounting, I am not going to ask you what are branches, why branch accounting is needed, why organizations go for branch, because most of you are well aware of it. So directly actually I am going to start writing something. You keep on writing also, and I will make the things clear along with it. First of all, branches are opened. Why branches are opened? Reason is very simple. Branches are opened to capture wider markets. Branches are opened. Branches are opened. Branches are opened to capture wider markets. Branches are opened to capture wider markets. To capture wider markets. To capture wider markets. That is the basic idea of opening the branches or outlets, isn't it or not? An organization actually is interested and keen in opening the branches, in opening the outlets, simply because it wants to actually increase its customers' base and thereby increase its sales and ultimately profits. So that is the main idea. Main idea is that we want to capture a larger share of market, and thus we want to actually increase our sales and of course along with it our sales revenue. Now, if we have opened branches, definitely we would be interested in knowing actually which branch is functioning in a formidable manner and which branch is not functioning according to our expectation. But we shall be able to derive such conclusions only when we shall have the results of the respective branches. And in order to what we call know the results, we need what we call branch accounting. So that is the reason actually why branch accounting is needed. So branch accounting is needed to assess the performances of the branches. Branch accounting branch accounting is needed. Branch accounting is needed and adopted by organizations. Why? To assess the performances of the branch. So branch account is needed or adopted to assess the performances of the branch, to assess the performances of the branch, to assess the performances of the branch, assess the performances of the branch. That is the main reason actually why branch accounting is needed. So, if a particular branch we find is not actually coming up to our expectations, then we can accordingly take some remedial actions. And similarly, if the branch is functioning well, we need not require to take any action. Rather, we need to actually give the personnel manning the branch some sort of incentive, no doubt about that. So that is the reason actually branch accounting is quite helpful in the overall assessment of the performances of the branch. Now, next point is that entire branches are divided into two broad categories, as most of you know already. The two broad division of branches are domestic branches and foreign branches. Now, what are domestic branches? Name itself is suggesting that such branches whose areas of operations are confined to the domestic territory of a nation is what we call or are called as domestic branches. And on the other hand, branches whose areas of operation would exceed the domestic frontiers are categorized as foreign branches. So types. So there are two types of branches. One, domestic types of branches. A, domestic branches. As I said, two broad categories of branches. One is domestic and another one is foreign branches. Foreign branches. Foreign branches. Foreign branches. So basically there are two broad categories, domestic branches and foreign branches. Now, first of all, we are going to actually analyze the domestic branches. Domestic branches. Analysis of domestic branches. Analysis of domestic branches. Analysis of domestic branches. Analysis of domestic branches. So as far as domestic branches are concerned, actually, one, domestic branches are further subdivided into two broad categories, that is dependent branches and independent branches, correct? So domestic branches are further subdivided into two categories, that is domestic branches, as I said earlier, are categorized into two categories. One is dependent branches. Dependent branches. And independent branches. Independent branches. Independent branches. So domestic branches are further subdivided into what we call dependent branches and independent branches. Now we shall analyze what we call slowly and steadily. First of all, dependent branches. So next one is dependent branches. Dependent branches. Dependent branches. Dependent branches. Name itself is suggesting actually what we mean by dependent branches. So dependent branches are those branches actually which are completely dependent upon head office, no doubt about that. Name itself is suggesting it, isn't it or not? Dependent branches means branch is completely and comprehensively dependent upon head office. But the question is what we mean by that. Complete dependence, what does it signify? See here, it means all the goods requirement of the branch, all the goods requirement of the branch shall be met by head office. See, we are trying to actually have a threadbare analysis of what we call complete dependence. So as far as complete dependence is concerned, it means actually all the goods requirement of the branch shall be met by the head office. That means branch will not be allowed to purchase any what we call goods of its own. So branch is completely dependent upon the head office in respect of its goods requirement. Similarly, all the expenses of the branch shall be met by head office. That means branch need not require to spend a single penny out of its own pocket. Head office will send the required cash to meet the expenses. Then, third point. Third is that actually all the major policy decisions shall vest in the hands of the head office. It means branch is not allowed to take any independent decision. All the decisions with respect to marketing, with respect to selling price, and with respect to anything else shall be completely in the hands of the head office. Branch manager is just supposed to what we call obey the orders and implement these what we call direction to the best of his knowledge. What my point is, all the directions, all the policy decisions will be in the hands of the head office. Branch is just expected to execute what we call those planning, those decisions to the best of its knowledge. So that is the meaning of what we call complete dependence. Is it clear to you? So dependent branches means branch is completely dependent upon the head office. So we shall now analyze it further. Dependent branches. As the name suggests, 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 comma, dependent branches are those, dependent branches are those, dependent branches are those which are completely dependent, which are completely dependent upon head office, completely dependent upon head office, completely dependent upon head office, dependent upon head office. Complete dependence signifies, complete dependence signifies, complete dependence, complete dependence signifies, complete dependence signifies A, all the goods requirement of the branch, all the goods requirement of the branch, all the goods requirement, all the goods requirement of the branch, all the goods requirement of the branch shall be met by head office. Shall be met by head office. Shall be met by head office. I have already told you, it means actually that branch is not allowed to purchase goods of its own. Similarly, the next one is all the expenses of the branch, all the expenses of the branch shall be met by head office. Shall be met by head office. It means whatever expenses branch will have to incur shall be met by head office. That means head office will send the required cash. Met by head office. C. All major policy decisions, all major policy decisions, all major policy decisions are, all major policy decisions vests in the hands of the head office. Vests in the hands of the head office. Hands of the head office. So all the major policy decision framework will be the complete domain of the head office, correct? Now, what branch manager is supposed to do? Branch is just expected to, as I have already told you, follow the various instructions, follow the various directions, implement those directions, execute them to the best of their ability. Branch is just expected to, branch or branch manager, whatever you may like to write actually. So branch manager is just expected to execute the policy framework, and collect as much cash as possible, collect as much cash as possible by way of cash sales, and from debtors, and send the same back to the head office. So that's the basic task of the branch manager, that he should actually, to the best of his ability, execute the various policy framework which has been forwarded by the head office, and try to do as much as possible, collect the cash from what we call cash sales and debtors, and then send it back to the head office. So that is what we mean by dependent branches. So dependent branches means branches which are completely dependent upon head office, but the meaning of complete dependence should be absolutely clear. Now, we would see later on that there are various accounting systems as far as dependent branches are concerned. Prominent among them is that debtor system, stock and debtor system. Then we would see later on wholesale branch system, also known as branch final account system. So now, next one is accounting systems. Accounting systems under dependent branches. Accounting systems. Accounting systems. Accounting systems under dependent branches. So, under dependent branches, under dependent branches. So as far as your accounting systems are concerned, I have already told you under dependent branches we would find following accounting systems. Which one? 1A, debtor system, most commonly used system, debtor system. Debtor system. Debtor system. Then B, stock and debtor system. Stock and debtor system. Stock and debtor system. Stock and debtor system. Then wholesale branch system. Wholesale branch system. Wholesale branch system, also known as final account system. Final account system. So these are the systems which we would find later on actually as far as dependent branches are concerned. So there are three accounting systems which are generally adopted. Of course, a particular organization will adopt either debtor system or a particular organization will adopt a stock and debtor system. So, what my point is actually, the first question which strikes the mind is actually why there is not a one single uniform system. It would have had reduced what we call hour labor and your what we call mental labor also, no doubt about that. So the first question which comes down to mind is why actually three systems have been developed. It is very simple to understand actually. See, most of you, when travel by flight actually, you will find there are what we call different classes, economy class, then executive class, and some of the flights are having VIP classes also. Similarly, when we travel by train actually, we find that there are several what we call classes. We can pick up our journey via what we call simply general compartments, and simply either we can have reservation in sleeper class, and some of you might actually like to have reservation in AC class. Why? The reason is that the three facilities have been given so that everyone can travel according to his own affordability. Isn't it or not? If suppose I am not having the required sort of duffs to travel by what we call AC, then definitely I will go by general. Isn't it or not? Similarly, if some of you cannot travel by what we call VIP class, you will go by what we call economy class. So it means the requirement of different system is that we should be able to cater to different needs. Is it clear to you? That is the situation also with respect to organizations. There are big organizations, there are small organizations, and there are some organizations actually which operate on a very limited scale. So their needs are quite what we call, you can say lesser. They have a confined limit of operation. So they do not need vast system of accounting. So that is the reason, first of all, why 3 systems have been developed. Is it clear? So that branch, according to its affordability, according to its need, according to its objective, according to its scale of production, can what we call adopt the relevant system of accounting. So that is the reason why we have developed actually 3 systems of accounting. Now, we will analyze data system. What we mean by data system, that we are going to study now. Data system. Data system. As far as data system is concerned, as far as data system is concerned, now we have an idea actually that data system is part of dependent branches, isn't it or not? Because under dependent branches, 3 accounting systems exist. So data system is one among them is a system which relates to dependent branches. So first point is that data system is part of dependent branches. Data system is part of dependent branches. Part of dependent branches. Part of dependent branches. Dependent branches. Second point. Second point is important and significant in the sense that most of us actually are still unaware of the reality of this particular system in spite of the fact actually that we have gone so many times actually through this particular system. Fact of the matter is that data system is not a complete accounting system. How, why, that we would definitely discuss, but at some later stage. At this moment, you allow me to write actually first. So next point is that data system is generally adopted by organizations having limited scale of operations. Data system is adopted. Data system is adopted by organizations, having limited scale of operations. Organizations having limited scale of operations. Having limited scale of operations. So first thing which you should be aware of regarding data system is that this system is generally adopted by organizations which have a very confined scale of operation. They do not feel the need actually to have a large system, correct? So that is the reason actually data system is generally adopted by such organizations. Now, as I told you, data system is an incomplete accounting system. That is the most formidable and prominent characteristic of data system. Unfortunately, most of us still do not know about that. Data system is an incomplete accounting system. Data system is an incomplete accounting system. Incomplete accounting system. Data system is an incomplete accounting system. How, why, that I will let you know. I have already told you, little bit of endurance, little bit of patience is required. Data system is an incomplete system. Under this system, Under this system, entire accounting is done in the books of head office. Entire accounting is done in the books of head office. Entire accounting is done in the books of head office. In the books of head office. Now that is yet another important characteristic, that under this system entire accounting will be done in the books of head office. That means branch is not required to maintain any books. So branch will not do any accounting. Head office will do the accounting on behalf of what we call branch. Now, head office just about maintains a branch account head office just about prepares a branch account, you better write, prepares a branch account and maintains a sales ledger. That is important point, a sales ledger. Do you know the meaning of sales ledger actually? First of all, you let me know of that. Sales ledger. Obviously, sales ledger is one which contains the accounts of credit customers, isn't it or not? So, when I am saying actually that head office just about prepares a branch account, of course in its books, and maintains a sales ledger means that is accounts of credit customers. Accounts of credit customers. And accounts of credit customers is nothing but debtors account. Is it clear to you? Debtors account. So, our conclusion actually now will narrow down to the fact that head office maintains and does the entire accounting under this system, and in the books of the head office with respect to branch, we are going to prepare a branch account and a debtor account. Generally, debtor account, it is written in the books, but it means actually that head office with respect to branch is maintaining a branch account and just one ledger, that is sales ledger. And sales ledger is nothing, but it is a collection of accounts of all our credit customer. And in one term, we may say actually that head office is preparing debtors account. Is it clear to you? In fact, that is the reason actually why this system is also known as debtor system, because under this system, head office, as I said, just about maintains only branch account, and besides that, only one ledger is maintained, that is debtors ledger. Is it clear to you or not? Now, at earlier stages of our discussion, I told you actually that it's an incomplete accounting system. Now, to be very honest with you, I need not require to give you any elaboration regarding that, because most of you by now must have had understood actually why it is an incomplete accounting system. It is obvious because we have just gone through the fact that under this system, head office is just what we call maintaining a branch account and just one sales ledger. Besides these two, no other account will be maintained by the head office, no nominal account, no other real account. So obviously then this system cannot be a double entry accounting system. So that is the reason actually why it is an incomplete accounting system. Is it clear to you or not? Now, after having a little bit of discussion with respect to data system, now we shall slowly move further and try to understand the accounting aspects of data system. Is it clear to you? But before we do that, we will have to end this session and we shall begin the next session within a second or two. Correct?